Good afternoon and welcome to BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch. Our guest today is Vishnu Varathan, Head of Economics and Strategy at Mizuho Bank from Singapore. Vishnu, as always, great to have you on the show.
Always a pleasure to be here, Brian.
Now, Vishnu, before we start and get your insights, let's take a look at how the cryptocurrency markets are performing today. We've got Bitcoin, which is at 45,643.7. It's down 4.6%. Ethereum is at 3,201 cents. It's down 6.17%. Now, looking across regional markets, we've got Japan, China, and Korean markets, which are closed for holidays. We'll start close to home with the SGX, which is at 3,058.5. It's down 0.41%. Bursa Malaysia's FBM KLCI is at 1,534.12. It's down 0.93%. The Hang Seng is down very sharply, almost 4% at 23,955.18. It's down 3.87%. Rounding up the numbers, we've got the ASX 200, which is at 7,235.5. It's down 2.27%. So Vishnu, give us your thoughts on what's happening in the markets across the region.
Sure. I mean, it looks like an entire wave of risk aversion is hitting markets, and the seizures that have followed is what we are actually seeing. For starters, today is so-called D-Day for Evergrande default. Already the company has flagged that there would be no interest payment on that, but the actual default could trigger off further credit action on the possibility of such things. And I think that's what markets are very nervous about. This nerves are spilling over more widely, not just because it is one reason is because it spilled over into Hong Kong. So the Hong Kong property sector is now under pressure from the mainland guidelines. That's one thing. So that's probably seen as a large squeeze on Hong Kong developers as well. And in the US, we also have got a bit of jitters from the US debt ceiling issues, as well as the Delta outbreak. So there's a whole host of headlines that risk negative. And even if we are heading into an FOMC that ought to be dovish, I think markets are pretty spooked by what they see here. And in particular, this Evergrande risk posing the danger of contagion in the region that could ripple off into the EM Asia high yield space. So I think this is something markets are watching very closely.
Now, Vishnu, is the threat perhaps of contagion overrated? Because after all, the playbook says that China will come in and stabilize markets and rescue Evergrande. Hello?
No, you're absolutely right, Brian. And I think this is why you get to see certainly China coming in to stabilize the markets to some extent is a little bit of a comfort or hope markets are clinging on to, unnerved by action from Beijing so far. And so the question now is the point at which Beijing is coming in. So the question really is, at which point will they come in, and will it be a little too late as well? So that's what markets are quite fearful of, that there may be some degree of complacency on Beijing's part, and maybe not a full appreciation for the fact that not all policies are symmetrically reversible. So just because they come in later to start easing measures doesn't mean all the risk fades, or the imminent liquidity and cross default risks. Risks I think markets are benign about.
Now, Vishnu, today your reception is not very good, but let me ask you another question also, which is in the back of investors' minds. There are a lot of risks now associated with China, and of course, because of all the crackdowns that have happened, everything from ed tech to the property sector, to data privacy and controls. Now, is the rotation out of China potentially benefiting markets in ASEAN? Sorry, Vishnu, I think I may have lost you. Vishnu, I think, hello? I think we've lost Vishnu Varathan. We've been speaking to Vishnu Varathan, Head of Economics and Strategy at Mizuho Bank on BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch. We're ending the broadcast early. I'm Brian Fernandez. Please check out www.biztech.asia for business and technology conversations. Thank you for tuning in, and apologies for the technical issues that we're having.